Hey everyone, and welcome to Autumn Leigh at Home. Today we are going to utilize some wasted space in our yard. We live in the suburbs in a cookie cutter neighborhood, and I'm very thankful and blessed that we have this house. One day we hope to have a lot more farmland and grow much larger garden. But for this time in our phase in life, I'm very grateful and we feel very blessed to have this house. And in the meantime, we want to grow and learn more gardening skills. This is something that I am not very good at, and I definitely want to grow in that area. And we have wasted space on the side of our house. There's a flower bed, a whole side of the house that's not getting used, and not very many people see it. So this is an area that I decided, you know what, let's utilize it and try to grow some fruits and vegetables, and as well as some garlic. So right now being the season and the time to plant garlic, I want to go ahead and get this planted, and then that way come next year, hopefully we will have our own garlic growing, and come late spring into summer, we can go ahead and start planting vegetables there as well. So to get started, I have my helpers and they love planting and they love learning with me. This is definitely an area we're growing in. So if any of you avid gardeners out there have any tips and tricks for planting, of course, let me know. But for now, we're going to go ahead and get started with taking all of the cloves and pieces of garlic and separating them. Here you see me taking a piece of paper and a ruler, and you're supposed to plant garlic 4 to 5 inches apart and 1 to 2 inches deep. So to get the 4 to 5 inches apart, I am measuring out a 5 by 5 inch piece of paper, and that way we can use that as a measuring tool while we're outside, and it'll visually help us see where we've planted and where we need to plant. This is the area that I was talking about, and as you can see, it is not a very pretty area. It does not get seen very often, so we just haven't invested a whole lot of time in it. We did plant some watermelons earlier this summer, and they produced a few different watermelons, and that was wonderful. We enjoyed having that, and it's starting to die back now. However, it has one last watermelon. We are just waiting to see if it, finishes ripening. It is not ready to pick yet, and we have not had our first frost yet. So I'm just going to let it try to ripen on the vine before I take the plant out. But right now we're getting started on the garlic. I'm using a pole to puncture holes down instead of having to use a shovel to dig big holes. The pole is working really well because all we need is an inch or two down, and about that size of a clove will fit down in there. So it's working really well. We're using that little piece of paper that is the 5 by 5, and we can just puncture 4 different holes in the 4 different corners, and then we know that they're about 5 inches apart. So all of that worked out great. I did task the kids to try to get the really hard lumps of clay and weeds out of this area and kind of pile them up in a different area until we can clean them up better. So that's what they're working on, and why you see a bunch of clumps of grass and weeds everywhere. The area that we live in is Zone 7B, and this area, it calls for garlic to be planted late October into November. So we are planting this a little bit early, which could be a mistake. However, I know the next couple weeks are going to be busy with fall activities and Halloween stuff that my kids are involved in. So we just wanted to take the opportunity while we had it to go ahead and plant it while we could. And I could have done this by myself and planted it further into the season in late October, and that would have been best for the garlic. However, I knew my kids really wanted to help, so I tried to go ahead, and we decided to go ahead and plant it a little early in hopes that it would be okay. I want to take this time to encourage all of you who would love to grow something but don't really have the skills to do it, or maybe like me, you live in the suburbs, so you're not really sure if you can. I I keep telling myself practice makes perfect. If you never try, you will never know. So we are taking the time to attempt new things while we are in this season and utilizing the space that we have. So you can kind of take the time to think about, okay, what area in my yard is not getting used and how can I utilize that? And I just want to encourage you guys that this is all just such a big learning curve. I did not get the green thumb in my household or in my family. My sister is by far much better gardener than I am, and she definitely has a green thumb. So, but I also know that practice makes perfect. And so by taking the time to try to teach myself and learn, this is going to be growing pains where we will have trial and error, we will have success and failure, and that is okay. I want to I never want to look back and say, why didn't we at least try? So I know that this is not the perfect soil for it. I know that it's not the perfect time frame for it. But again, we are all just doing the best we can with what we have, and a season of life that is crazy and just enjoying it. Where we live, we have a lot of red clay and rocks, so we tried to move as much of that out of the way as possible and add in a little bit healthier soil as we were planting. So hopefully that will help the cloves and the garlic grow a little bit better. We also ran into a lot of dormant flower bulbs that I didn't realize were there, and I don't remember them blooming this last spring, so I don't know if maybe they just are dead, or maybe they don't come up very often, or maybe somehow I just missed them. I'm not really sure. But as we were going, if I came across them, I did go ahead and pull them out because I don't want my garlic competing for space and nutrients and as well as water and that sort of thing. So I'm sure we probably missed a few, and we may see some random flowers growing among the garlic. I'm hoping not, but my thoughts are, even if we get a little bit of garlic, that's still better than nothing. And then on top of that, even if we get the tops of the garlic, you can make all kinds of stuff like pesto and other things with the garlic greens that grow on the top. So either way, I'm going to call this a win-win. If we get anything, then that's better than nothing. And so each year we can grow and learn from the next year. And so same thing in the spring when we plant vegetables along here. I'm hoping that that will also be a learning curve too. So my son, we planted 2 watermelon plants, and my son, I'm explaining to him in ASL that one we want to keep, and then the other one is okay to go ahead and pull out because it's not producing anymore. So he's going to go ahead and pull out the one that's all the way closer to the fence, and then the other one that is closer to the air conditioner is the one that still has the watermelon on it. So we're going to try to let that one kind of hang out for a little bit longer. I ended up planting the garlic from this point right here at that line all the way over to where you can kind of see the red dirt stops. And I found the other flower bulbs in there too. So I'm sure we're gonna have other flowers maybe come up as well in the spring. I'm hoping not, I'm hoping I got most of them. But I did multiple rows of garlic throughout here. So hopefully we'll end up getting some heads of garlic come spring or summer, and we'll be able to utilize this space. Now over here, again, this is all kind of wasted space right now, and I'm hoping to utilize it. But over here is where we have that one other watermelon plant, and it's traveling back behind here, and it has a little watermelon still growing right there. And so I don't want to pull this one up yet because we haven't had our first frost yet. So I'm waiting to see if maybe we can get this to ripen before we have the frost. It wasn't ready quite yet. I looked at the vine and it wasn't quite ready. So we went ahead, we had a second watermelon plant right here, and we went ahead and pulled that one up. And in the spring, I'm hoping to plant tomato bushes and some green bean plants along here as well, trying to utilize that wasted space. After spending all afternoon outside in the yard with the kids planting the garlic, I didn't want to have to come in and cook a really hard dinner tonight. I wanted something easy and quick, and this was a dinner that my children love. It is Olive Garden chicken pasta, and all it is 2 to 3 chicken breasts you put in the bottom of the crock pot. You pour a 16-ounce bottle of Olive Garden Italian dressing over it, and then put a block of cream cheese, 8-ounce cream cheese on top. Let it cook 6 to 8 hours in the crock pot on high, and then you just shred the chicken, boil up some pasta of your choice. Normally we do bow tie pasta. However, on this evening, all I had was, I forgot what it's called, maybe rotoli pasta. I'm not really sure, but it was super simple. You just boil up the pasta, pour it in, and then you have a wonderful, hearty pasta dinner that the children love. And then this loaf of bread is a rustic loaf that I had made on a previous day and put in the freezer because we ended up not using it that day. And these loaves freeze and thaw beautifully. This was from a different day, and it still turned out fantastic after I let it thaw all day on the counter. The children loved it and ate it up. If you want to know the recipe for this rustic loaf of bread, I will post it in the comment, or not the comments, but the description below. So feel free to go and look at that recipe. I also have a couple of other videos that I make this recipe in, so you can visually see how it's made. The pasta that I used was rotini, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, rotini pasta. But again, that was just what I happened to have. If you even just have elbow pasta, that is fine. It's just whatever pasta you happen to have. Boil it up, and then all you have to do is add it into the crock pot with the cooked chicken. You know when the chicken is finished and the pasta is ready when the chicken easily is shredded. If you're having a hard time shredding the chicken, you may want to let it cook for a little bit longer. I just want to take the time to say thank you for joining me today here at Autumn Leigh at Home. Today we were able to plant garlic, and I'm really hoping, I'm crossing my fingers and saying a little prayer that come next late spring or summer, we will have bulbs of garlic in what was unused space in a suburban home yard. So I hope that that's helpful for you guys. I'm hoping to use that space more in the spring as well. Instead of just having it bare, I can actually plant stuff there and be able to use it. So I'm hoping that we'll get some garlic. I'm crossing my fingers. But in the meantime, we also were able to enjoy a quick, easy meal and a crock pot dinner that turned out delicious. So thank you so much for joining me. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and share. And I will see you guys next time.